Hello, Sam here. Now I've just done a real talk. I've just come off a real talk with the guys on the channel. I just wanted to jump on here and do an individual video. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about was how we can't put deadlines on our OCD recovery journey. Something that I did many times. Now, the reason I did that was because I was so desperate to be recovered by next week, next month, next year, whatever it may be. Usually it would be because of a big important event coming up, let's say a wedding, a holiday, or me being a football fan, let's say we've got a big game coming up, a big cup final, whatever it may be. Now, I didn't want that day to be ruined. I wanted to enjoy every second of that day. And if OCD was there, if I was having a bad OCD day, then that is it. That would be terrible, and I couldn't enjoy it. All right, so it would then dig its heels in and become counterproductive. All right, so it's so key not to put deadlines on recovery. It really doesn't work. Now, many times, Rob told me to take the foot off the gas, foot off the accelerator. And that was because I was so eager, because I felt a bit of freedom. I felt a bit of relief. I felt a bit of happiness. Okay, so I was so keen to latch onto that and hold on to it as much as I could. And that any bit of suffering, any bit of discomfort, any bit of guilt, panic, anxiety, then that would be terrible. And I couldn't possibly bear that after feeling good. Like I had a tease of recovery, I had a tease of feeling better. So I wanted to hold on to that as much as I could. Now that became counterproductive. That meant OCD then dug its heels in. It then started latching onto other themes, relapses and setbacks would come in, and I'd then feel completely hopeless because I then feel I'd be back to square one, as you hear many sufferers say. So, we can't put deadlines on it. If you could go through an intense course, like you would with your driving test, and go for a 5-day course, and that's it, right at the other end, OCD is a distant memory. Now, I'm sure we'd all love that when you first come on the journey and you're suffering, but that's not how it works. That's not reality. You can't swallow a pill and it's all gone, and nor can you read one book and that's it. Don't worry about it. OCD is gone, long gone. That's not how it works. All right. It takes persistence. It's gradual, and you're going to need a lot of patience and hard work. All right. So it's not an overnight fix. Okay. It's a key thing to remember. Now, when you're reading a book, say, when you're reading one of the books on the reading list, if you're just scanning through that, looking for an answer or looking for it to relate to exactly to your theme or to your suffering, then that's not going to work either. You're going to have to apply the tools that you're learning from the exercises to your thinking. And gradually, as you're breaking down those beliefs and you're adopting the unconditional acceptance, you're changing your perspectives, will OCD start to unlatch and not latch to as much. Hence why we talk about the intrusive thoughts have lost all intrusiveness. If I give you a quick example, I used to suffer really bad with thoughts coming up really unwanted time, let's say during intimacy. Quite often that happened. Now, only when I started to work on my beliefs and my perspectives and separating thoughts and having distance between them, that did I start to see progress. So if I don't care what's coming in then, because the whole reason I obviously would latch it into then and chuck it in at that time is because I was so desperate to not have that. I was scanning for it. So I was like, if this thought comes in now, it would be terrible and it'll completely ruin the whole moment. But I wasn't getting those thoughts just walking down the street. All right. So as I was gradually breaking down the beliefs and saying, look, OCD, you can chuck in whatever you want, and knowing I wasn't gonna stop what I was doing. I wasn't gonna then try and analyze everything that it was coming in. Why did it shut that in? Oh, that's so terrible, blah blah blah. I was becoming comfortable with OCD firing away in the background. Okay, there's going to be so much discomfort. There's going to be so much confusion. I felt so confused many times along my journey. Am I doing it right? I remember reading some of the books on the reading list and rereading the page over and over again and looking at definitions of some words that I knew, but I wanted to be absolutely sure that it meant this in this context, blah, blah, blah. Okay, those subtle compulsions that we talk about. Needing that certainty, needing recovery work to be perfect. Okay, I mustn't miss anything. If I miss anything, I have loads of notepads writing stuff down. I remember being on my first one-to-one session with Rob, and I actually asked, could I record the session? A, to go over it again, and B, so I can replay it and make sure that I told him everything that I meant, or if I was confessing real events, false memories, that I worded it perfectly, got it all off my chest, blah, 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 so I can go back and replay it over and over again. Now, I thought that would benefit me. I thought, look, I can have this session and then that's it. I can be cured from just hearing all the advice in one session and that's it. I won't ever have to deal with OCD again. Now that links back into deadlines, because I wanted one session, boom, I was then free, I'd be happy on my holiday next month. No, that's not how it works. That's not how the journey works. There's lots of bumps on the journey. It's like an emotional roller coaster. Fallen off my bike, as I put it, many, many times. Just got to get back on and continue with the work you're doing. Now, someone's laughing. One thing I've touched on is taking your foot off the gas, your foot off the accelerator. Now you might ask, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is balance is key. So I'm not saying foot off the gas, chuck all your recovery work out the window, chuck all the books out the window and don't bother with it, be done with it. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying do not force it. Okay, I tried to force it. As soon as I had that glimpse of relief, I tried to force recovery. I tried to force getting better. All right, and that became utterly counterproductive. Okay, OCD would dig its heels in, find a new theme, latch onto a new sensation, latch onto why isn't the guilt feeling gone? You're working on your beliefs, but why do you still feel chronically guilty? Usually I still felt chronically guilty because I was really wishy-washy and quite soft in my disputing. I wasn't hard enough on that. But you have to bring the discomfort along with the ride. You have to bring the confusion along. Am I doing it right? Am I really putting enough work? Okay, it's going to latch onto that. That's how it works. It's very crafty at times. Okay, it's going to always trying to find a way to latch on and to keep you stuck. All right, but as you become less afraid of that, as you live in your life regardless, as you are bringing it for the ride, and I'm not saying just bringing it for the ride in a soft, wishy-washy way. I'm saying, look, I'm going to go out, I'm going to go for that job interview regardless of how I'm feeling. I'm going to go and socialise with my friends regardless if I feel like utter crap. I'm going to go on that holiday, even if I feel terrible, even if I feel the guilt and the anxiety and the panic is so wrapped up that it's going to be ruined. Fuck it. If the holiday is ruined, I'm going whatever. All right, so having that attitude. But just to go back to my point of taking the foot off the gas, because my personal journey, I tried to force it. I wanted it all really quick and be done with it. I wanted that immediate overnight fix. All right, but it takes time. You can't just change your beliefs overnight. All right, the reason that some of your irrational beliefs are embedded in your mind is because they've happened from a young age. That's how you've been brought up, the environment around you. It feels like quite an innate nature, all right, to have those beliefs. So you can't just go, right, I can change it overnight. Yes, you can look at changing it, but it takes time, all right? You can't, just because you've got a big, important event coming up next week, you can't just try and force it out. That's not how it works. I'm sure we'd all love that, but that's not the process. That's just not reality, I'm afraid. All right. Now, if I go into I want to talk about why I'd be so desperate for relief. Now, that would be for fear of fear. And having that internal thermometer constantly there, constantly checking it. How am I feeling? Am I feeling better today? Am I feeling worse yesterday? Am I feeling better than I was yesterday? How was I feeling last week? Just constantly measuring how I'm feeling. All right. Now, I see it as, yes, you like to know there's progress going on, but you can't ever have that certainty. What would tend to happen, I look back and go, fuck, like stuff that would have triggered me no longer latches. All right, but I'm not constantly trying to think, am I feeling anxious today? How do you even measure anxiety? Can I function today? All right. As soon as I drop that, okay, that's a big thing to me to drop drop down that internal thermometer and just do things regardless, whether that's recovery work regardless or just living your life regardless. All right. One thing that I used to do a lot was talk about my feelings, how I'm feeling, get it all off my chest. Yes, it's important not to, I'm mainly referring to when you first, along the journey and you're first discovering OCD. Yes, reaching out for help, that's absolutely vital. If none of us reached out for help, we wouldn't have this page here, I wouldn't be doing this video. So yes, reaching out for help is good, but it's such a fine line with OCD in bottling it or bottling it up or getting it all out or getting it all off your chest, because all of a sudden that goes down the confession route, the venting route, the ranting route. Videos, I've done many videos on that. Right, so it's such a fine line. I used to talk about many of my feelings thinking it was a good thing, that I'd go all out of my chest. My partner knows everything now, and that's it, I can relax. And then boom, OCD would find something else. When I was suffering a real event, false memory OCD, it would find another event, another memory, and I have to confess all of that, blah blah blah, and try and get sympathy votes and things like that, and just try and make people feel sorry for me because I've got OCD and you haven't, blah blah blah. All right, so that is what I mean by getting used to that discomfort. Yes, you're going to feel like crap, you're going to feel like utter shit at times, you're going to feel like the panic and the anxiety is through the roof that you can't hardly function. But this is what I mean by bringing that for the ride and living life regardless, and not talking about every time you feel like shit. Okay, so just the bottom line of this video, you cannot put deadlines on recovery. All right, you can put in the work, but there's no, it's not like a race. There's no winning post and go, yes, I've made it, that's it, I can no longer think about OCD now, I've made it. That is not how it works. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please leave a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. And any comments you'd like to leave, any feedback, any suggestions for future videos, please leave a comment. Anyway, you take care. Bye bye.